If you look out into the crowd, you'll see all sorts of interesting people. If you look at their names, we'll tell you more about the people who are here today. If you look in the bio book that was distributed as part of the event, you could read the bios and the backgrounds on everybody who's here today. This is a great opportunity for some virtual networking, both during the event and afterwards. And I'll tell you more about that in a moment. So let me go ahead and share my screen. As you've heard, this is our pitch event, number 4 in our series focused on ENT, dentistry, orthopedics, next-gen surgical, and ophthalmology. You see the link over there for the live stream for those of you who are on YouTube watching this. We appreciate your being here. You'll be able to post some questions in your chat. We'll try and monitor that and get to your questions if we can. But typically, we really don't have an opportunity to do that very much. So you're welcome to submit something and we'll do our best. So for those of you who are here, however, on Zoom, you're going to have an opportunity to interact with everybody. As Sakina mentioned in the beginning, if you're coming in, if you've come in late, please rename yourself to your first name and last name - company so we can move you into the right places here in Zoom. So with that, let me just tell you a little bit about MedTech Innovator. So as I mentioned, we've been doing this for many years. What you're looking at here on the screen is the last time we were in person on a stage in Asia Pacific. That was in 2019 at the MedTech Forum, which is a forum done every single year by APAC Med. We'll be back there again this year in September. MedTech Innovator is an accelerator. But we are a downstream accelerator. We are not looking for people with ideas. We're looking for people with companies and technology. We're looking for the best medtech startups anywhere in the world. And we want to make sure you succeed in reaching patients and with the maximum value possible. We're a nonprofit in structure. We don't take equity for what we do. We don't require you to pay us any fees. Our whole mission is funded by the industry to make sure that you are successful. Some quick stats on that. Going back now to our first year in 2013, we have had 420 companies graduate in MedTech Innovator, 95% of whom are still active or have been acquired. So only 5% of these companies have shut down in the course of nearly 10 years, which is pretty amazing. More importantly, we have 134 products on the market from our alumni. That's what this is all about, is bringing technology to patients. And as I said, we've been very successful at that. And that's thanks to our partners, many of whom you'll get a chance to meet today. Our companies have gone on to 25 acquisitions in addition to those products on the market. And last year alone, companies that have graduated MedTech Innovator raised over $1.8 billion in funding, which is pretty amazing. It's literally about 1 out of 5 of the investments that are happening in this space are going to companies in MedTech Innovator's portfolio. So pretty high performing portfolio. I hope all of you get to be part of that. So a little more about MedTech Innovator. We evaluate companies on a number of metrics, and I'm only going to cover really this in 3 areas, which is value, execution, and momentum. Value meaning we want to have products that are offering value to the ecosystem and healthcare in general. We want to make sure that you have the team that can execute. A lot of what we'll be doing today is getting to know you, getting to know your team. If you're one of our startup companies, we want to make sure you have the resources to execute, and where there are gaps, we want to know what those are and how we can help you. And then lastly, we want to look at momentum. And that's really, are you ready? Is this the right timing for you? If you have milestones coming up that we can be helpful with, we want to understand what those look like. Overall, if you kind of look at this from the big picture, we have hundreds of companies applying. We only invite a portion of those to pitch at these events like the ones today. We'll choose 20 companies to be part of our accelerator, which I'll tell you more about shortly. From those companies, we'll have 5 that'll be in our grand finals, and then we'll have 1 winner. There will be other prizes given out. It won't just be to the grand prize winner. Other people will win cash awards as well. But overall, it's a program that gives a lot of visibility and opportunity through that competition at the end. In terms of our key dates, the way this flows is we have 5 pitch events that are part of the main program. It looks like we're going to have 1 more pitch event as well that'll be very focused. which we'll be able to tell you about in the future. But stay tuned for that. Look at our website. We'll give you information about that. Then in June, we're going to choose the companies that will be part of the Accelerator program. And those companies will participate through September. That is when we have the finals of the companies that will be part of our program. That will be in Singapore, which I'm going to tell you about. That is our showcase and finals competition at the Asia Pacific MedTech Forum in Singapore, September 26th through the 27th. That's really the main end of the program, although we will continue to wrap up for several additional weeks on the mentorship program. It'll finish in mid-October. So you'll still have a couple calls and wrap up after the finals. And what does this look like? So here's a picture of our showcase and finals several years ago in Singapore. As you can see, we have our companies present. So all the companies that are selected will present to an audience at a showcase stage. And you'll be, hopefully, in our finals competition. And that's a decision made by your mentors, by the people who are working with you. They will recommend you and nominate you for that opportunity. And if selected, you will be presenting to the leaders of the MedTech industry in Asia Pacific. They all gather annually at the MedTech Forum, which is powered by APAC Med, which is the trade association for MedTech companies in Asia Pacific. So as I said, if you're lucky enough to be part of this program, you'll get exposure to the leadership of the MedTech industry via this event, which is an amazing opportunity. You want to make sure you're on everyone's radar who needs to know about you, and that's where you can do it at APAC Med's MedTech Forum. So again, that's September 26th through 27th in Singapore. Even if we don't accept you to MedTech Innovator, I would still highly encourage you to learn more about this opportunity, both to be present if you wanted to attend that conference, to join APAC Med as an association. So they actually bring together all these startups and mid-stage and later stage companies, the large companies. Everybody gets to get together at this opportunity, at this forum, to learn about marketing your products in Asia Pacific, about development, about other challenges. And then the organization provides support throughout the year. So it's like a double bonus. If you're part of MedTech Innovator and then you're part of APAC Med, you get two incredible ecosystems to be part of. So more on that later. In terms of our pitch events, as I mentioned, this is our fourth pitch event. We've got one more coming up. If you're tuning in on YouTube, we'll want you to tune back in on the 21st of June. That last one's going to be on digital health, SaaS services, M-Health, telemedicine, and wellness. And that will be, as I said, the last of the main pitch events, potentially one more as well. Now, I've mentioned our sponsors a couple times. Sponsors of MedTech Innovator are not just people writing checks. They are actively engaged in our program, in our process. You're going to get a chance to meet many of them today, both if you're pitching to one of them, potentially, as well as during our breaks. We'll get a chance to introduce you to some of our partners. So the companies you see here on the slide, Johnson & Johnson, Nipro, Align, Siemens Healthineers, Cambridge Consultants, Oliver Healthcare, Packaging, Jabil, and Enterprise Singapore are here supporting us with their team members in addition to their financial support. So we're very lucky that we have the opportunity to connect you with all of these companies because they'll help you on your journey to success. So thank you to all of our sponsors for being here. In addition to our sponsors, we have a number of judges, some of whom are from those sponsors that I just mentioned, others who are just here supporting the ecosystem from various places across Asia Pacific. And we have a couple, I believe, who are dialing here from the US as well. But if you look down the list over here, you'll see we have some people from some of the strategics like Align Technology that I mentioned earlier. We have representatives from APAC Med. We get to meet Gabriel during this program. Elpis from Barron's Consulting, who's here at all these events from Australia. Venkatesh from Baxter. We have a number of representatives from Cambridge Consultants. We've also got some investors. So ClearPoint Ventures. We've got some of our partners and community partners from QBO. Deloitte is here represented as well. We have investors from Honeywell Lake Ventures who you might get to meet. Jabil Healthcare is the largest manufacturer of medical devices in the world. You'll get a chance to meet with them today, hopefully. Johnson & Johnson has a number of their representatives here today. You'll get to meet. Jumpstart, another one of the key players in the ecosystem. Nipro Medical, I mentioned earlier, and Oliver Healthcare Packaging. Ontogenics, which would be great, get a chance to meet with them. And then we also have Masa is here from Osaka University in Japan Biodesign, one of the leaders in creating new companies in the Japanese ecosystem. And then also Siemens Healthineers, a couple of representatives who you get to meet. We'll have a hospital system representative, St. Vincent's Hospital in Melbourne, and Three Bridges, another one of our partners in MedTech Innovator. So lots of great people who you get a chance to interact with. And very importantly, I want to make sure everyone understands the way our format works is we have breakouts, and the breakout sessions are set up and pre-scheduled so that the judges who wanted to meet with each company, we have 10 companies presenting today, each of the judges told us who they would like to meet with. And you're going to have 4 rounds in which you'll be moving. If you're one of our startups, you'll be moving to different rooms to meet with different judges. And in almost every case, you're meeting with people who specifically said they wanted to meet with you. But most of our judges picked more than the 4 companies they'll be able to meet with in depth. And so we do a 1 minute per company pitch round here, where each of you will get a chance to tell us your story in 1 minute. So we want to know a little bit about you. Today's is about getting to know you. We want to make sure that this isn't just seeing your slide. We want to know who you are. We want to know where you're from. And then you can tell us in 1 minute a little bit about your company. You can't cram the whole presentation in. You can just tell us just enough to get us excited, enough to maybe want to follow up with you later. So 1 minute each for each company. I'm going to be calling out the companies by name. And what I'd like you to do when I call you out is make sure that you're ready to give your presentation. So you go off mute when I call on you. Each of the companies, here's the 10 companies are going to be presenting today. It's going to be in alphabetical order. So make sure, as I said, that you're kind of prepped and ready to go in alphabetical order with your companies. So I'm going to go through each of the companies. I'll call up the presenter, and I'm asking you to keep an eye on your time. So you might want to take out your cell phone. You might want to put that in front of you and make sure that you are ready to stay on a 60-second clock. If you go much over 60 seconds, we will interrupt you, but hopefully you can stay on time or even finish a little bit early. So what I'm going to do is put up each company's slide, and then you'll have 1 minute to tell us, to introduce yourself and tell us about your company. Last thing I want to mention on that is that we have a real nice diversity of companies from different ecosystems. So you can see we have companies presenting today from India, from South Korea, from Japan, from Singapore, a couple companies from the US, and one from China as well. So great geographic diversity, which is something we really like to see. So with that, let's go ahead and get to our first company. So this is going to be Anupam is presenting from Bioscan Research. So if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, we'd love to hear the story.
Thank you so much, Paul. This is Anupam from Bioscan Research. Now, hello, very big hello to everyone. Very good morning. And do you know that 69 million people across the world suffer from traumatic brain injuries, and of which 65% never come back to their normal life? Now, that is not because of lack of treatment. It is mainly because of delayed detection. And you know, WHO claims that is the #1 cause of disability in year 2020. And that delayed detection to overcome that problem itself, we have come up with a device called Cerebro, which is a point of care, a handheld device which can detect brain hemorrhages within a minute, and that too without any harmful radiation, can be used by any layman with just a small training, for which we have already have 8 cases of patents, and it is a clinically validated device that we have. Thank you very much.
Very much. Huge area of need. Really excited you guys are working on this. Excited to have you here. So thank you. All right. Next up, we have Medicare Tech. So I believe that's going to be Han Yong presenting.
Hello, everyone. I'm Han Yong-jeon, the CEO at Medicare Tech from South Korea. And this is Chun Woo-kim from KIST, a collaborative researcher and investor. Medicare Tech is a surgical and treatment medical device startup we are developing medical devices that conform to ESG. Our first product is an ENT surgical device called the debrider system, which has a vendor blade and an integrated endoscope. This product can reduce medical consumables, reduce repeat operation rate, and medical malpractice. So it will bring a new experience to ENT surgery. We anticipate this product will be launched in the first half of next year in South Korea. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much. Great to have you both here. Thanks for joining us. Looking forward to hearing more in the breakout sessions. All right. Next up, we have MedTech and Sang Bin.
Hello, nice to meet you. My name is Sang-Bin Lee, is CEO of MedTech South Korea. MedTech was founded in 2001. We are the leading manufacturer of the technologically innovative medical products, like as number one is a cylinder pump, Infusion Y100 and H100. The Infusion HPI system, automatic chemotherapy preparation and infusion system. Now, I'd like to explain you firstly about our core technology. We call it a cylinder cartridge, which is a world first core technology and is covered the direct motion of syringe into the rotary motion. Our core technology, Infusion, solved serious problems that has been a long cherished dream in medical history. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sang Bin. Looking forward to learning more about that cylinder technology. Sounds great. All right, let's move on to our next company. So next is going to be Melton and Mark presenting.
Okay, thank you for the introduction. We are Melton from Tokyo, Japan, and we are here to seek for the business opportunity or partners in overseas market for our device that is ready to ship for Japanese market shortly. And we are specialized with the biosignal and robotics development, and we are developing this kind of the robotic neurorehabilitation device. And this is very lightweight, and it has the biosignal processing technology, so it can sense the biosignal from the stroke patient, and then classify the EMG signal, and then assist the movement. And it equipped with the high sensitivity EMG sensor, so it can classify the movement even while in the spasticity. And I hope we have a good conversation today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Looks really important for rehab, so glad to hear you guys are working on that. All right, let's move on to our next company. NewsQ. I know we have about 6 people here from the company on Zoom, so thanks you guys for all joining and looking forward to meeting everybody in the breakouts. Lynn, I think, is going to be giving us the presentation.
Good morning. Glue ear is the condition where fluid is trapped behind the eardrum in the middle ear space, and surgeons put a 1 millimeter grommet tube onto the eardrum to drain this fluid. But currently, we require many instruments. The child cannot tolerate this. We need general anesthesia. In an operating theater, a 12-hour commitment time. We need a large, non-portable, hundreds of thousands of dollars surgical microscope. All this leading to surgical delays, high cost, very specialist, and resource intensive. Imagine now, with clicks, we can do it in 1 click in just 1 second. Clicks is a 1-pass applicator, removing the need for general anesthesia, needing just a portable headlight, not the microscope. So same-day surgery, low cost, home in 2 hours. More adoption, accessible, equitable, many more millions of patients helped. I'm Lynn, I'm the founder of NewsQ, and we're from Singapore. Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn. Another area we've seen lots of companies trying to solve this problem, and no one's done a great job at it yet. So great to have you here. Thanks for joining us. Next up, we have NovaPrint and Jason presenting. So Jason, if you want to unmute yourself.
Hello, everyone. This is NovaPrint Therapeutics. The U.S. orthopedic bone implant market is expected to reach $46.4 billion in 2026. However, there are still unmet medical needs for large volume bone defects. Innovator Therapeutics is a company focused on 3D bioprinting and regenerative medicine. We are going to bring a new product to the market for treating this disease. Our product is created by the 3D bioprinting with bioabsorbable materials and functional bioinks. With the implantation of these active implants, the osteogenesis and angiogenesis can be rapidly initiated and substantially enhanced, followed by the replacement of the implant with whole tissues, which is a more advanced healing mechanism compared to traditional implants in the market. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Jason. Really, really important area. And again, 3D bioprinting is something we've seen a lot of companies trying to do, and it's exciting to see where you guys have come. So we're looking forward to hearing the story. Thank you. Next up, we have new with PK presenting.
Hello, everyone. My name is PK. I'm one of the co-founders of MedTech R&D company MTI from South Korea. We use wearable electronic devices to treat various chronic diseases, such as dry eye disease, glaucoma, and even non-small cell lung cancer by using electrical stimulation that mimics our endogenous biological signals in order to induce various biological functions, such as tissue regeneration and proliferation inhibition. Since 2017, we are selected as a startup company with innovation by pharmaceutical companies and government agencies. We are working on many different clinical trials with university hospitals in Korea now.
Excellent. Very good, PK. Thank you. Looking forward to hearing more about the outcomes of those trials. So looking forward to hear more about the technology as well. Thank you. All right. Next up, we have Sharp Arrow, Jay presenting. Jay Kim.
My name is Jay Kim, CEO and founder of Sharp Arrow. We are developing a surgical laser. We are trying to replace what we call Bobby or monopolar technology. This device has been developed by Dr. Bobby 100 years ago, and it has a lot of problems currently. And right now, this device is using a surgical robots. And we are working with a couple of large US surgical robot companies trying to install these surgical lasers. We have done a lot of feasibility and also the in vitro testing. And right now we are trying to raise some funding for the future clinical device. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Definitely, again, another area, as you said, for plenty of room for improvement over the Bovie technology. It's been around for a long time. So looking forward to hearing more. Thank you for that. Next up, we have Supine Therapeutics with Hyuna presenting.
Oh, thank you for introduction. I'm Hyuna Lee, Research Director at Spine Therapeutics. The meaning of spine is lying on the back. So as our company name indicates, we develop therapeutics for patients with spinal cord injury. A spinal cord injury is a devastating neurological condition that causes serious paralysis to patients. Every year, 500,000 new cases occur globally, and the total lifetime cost for each patient is a large financial burden. So it's even more tragic fact that there is no treatment for repairing the nerve damage. To solve this problem, we developed spine gel, which can be directly applied to damaged spinal cord in golden time to provide optimal tissue environment for neuroregeneration. Spine gel is composed of natural polymers. Since they are previously approved by FDA, biological safety is guaranteed, and drug repositioning is our strategy. The treatment of spinal gel have shown the significant therapeutic effects in preclinical study in restoring full movement to the subjects. So spine gel will be the best-in-class and first-in-class therapeutics for spinal cord injury. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Huge area of impact. I hope that technology is successful. So looking forward to hearing more. And then our final presenter is Thubrakar, aortic valves. And we're going to have Samir tell us the story.
Thanks so much, Paul, and greetings everyone from Philadelphia. I'm Samir Wadki of Thubrakar Aortic Valve. which has developed the optimum transcatheter aortic valve implantation, or TAVI system, to better treat aortic stenosis patients without open heart surgery. Current transcatheter valves have shown much less durability than surgical valves. A more durable transcatheter valves, like our short expanding one, could increase the $5 billion market to over $10 billion. It has already shown superior preclinical durability in the 2 gold standard tests that have been used to approve surgical valves without long-term clinical data for several decades. Our first patient continues to do well after 3 years in a licensee-sponsored clinical trial in South America. Our founder and inventor, Dr. Manu Tubakar, who's with us today, has focused on the aortic valve for over 35 years. Our medical advisors are the 2 most experienced TAVI specialists in the world. And we recently started our own clinical study in Europe and seek $11.5 million to complete the CE Mark trial and for initial sales there. We also seek a potential partner for the Asian markets. Thank you so much for your time.
Hey, thanks for being here and for being here so late for you where you're based. So we appreciate that. Part of the magic of Zoom. So thank you. So those are our 10 companies who will be presenting for today. So thank you for all your presentations. Let me just quickly give a little bit of orientation for our judges, and then we're going to get into our meetings. So most of our judges have done this before, but a couple of you, this is your first time. So just in case, you have a form, as was mentioned in the beginning by Sakina, that you can log into. It's your Kobo judging form. If for some reason you're having any difficulty finding that, please reach out to Preti here in the, so Pret alone, you'll see her in the list of names in our participants, and she can help you with that. And for those of you who've logged in or who haven't logged in yet, make sure when you do use your username and password that you don't have any spaces before or after the name if you're copy pasting it from an email. So once you get in, for each company you're going to be meeting with in your breakouts, we want you to use this form. So you click the little radio button next to the company name that you're meeting with. Then you answer the question, were you aware of the company before MedTech Innovator? You scroll down a little bit and you'll get to your pitch notes. You just fill in that box. You can keep typing in that box. We're going to send you all of your notes at the end of the session today so that when we're discussing the companies, you'll have them in front of you. So you don't need to write them down in any other documents, write them right here. Also, the box below that says feedback that will be anonymously sent to the company. That's very important. So one of the hallmarks of MedTech Innovator is feedback. And we ask you judges to jot down some notes that you would like us to send to the company. We find all too often that people listen to presentations, clap at the end, and then once the company walks out of the room, people go, oh, that company, I didn't understand their business model at all, or I couldn't read their slides, or whatever it is they tell, whatever feedback they tell us, the companies never get to hear. So we want to make sure you get to hear some feedback, companies. So judges, please fill in these comments. They will be anonymously sent to the company. No one will be able to connect you with the feedback that you're giving. But it's very important that you jot down some notes that you think would help the companies in their future pitches. It can be either constructive criticism or it can just be comments. And you could just say, hey, there's some, you might want to consider this other competitor that you hadn't heard of before, or maybe you might want to do a contact so-and-so for a clinical site, or whatever feedback you want to give the company. Additionally, we want you to rate the company in a couple of different ways, one of which is on a scale of me too, incremental to transformational. How innovative is this technology? Overall likelihood of success, 10 being the best, 1 being the weakest. We want to know, not relative to the other companies presenting today, but just in general, how strong an opportunity do you think this company has? And overall, their likelihood of success. And that's really kind of, again, subjective for everybody, but give us your thoughts. Do you think this is really, really likely to be successful or not? If you feel like it's a neutral, you're not really sure, just give it a 5 and put it in the middle. Factors in the likelihood of success, we want you to rate on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being the strongest, the value to the patient, the technical feasibility, the strength of the team, not just the presenter, but the overall team, the value in terms of the business model, and then the likelihood of funding, meaning if you were an investor, would you write a check? If you would, give it a 5 or a 4. If you're pretty neutral on any of these things, just give it a 3. Like if you don't know, if you feel like you're not even capable of answering the question, you're like, I don't really know how to evaluate the business model, you can give it a neutral 3. That would be just fine. And then we have some free text boxes, one for risks. So tell us some of the things that you think are concerns that the company needs to be aware of and that we should be aware of when thinking about this company. And again, we're just looking for highlights, not long things here. So just some highlights on the concerns, regulatory strategy, could be market access plans, whatever you think might be major concerns for the company. They don't know who their competition is, whatever it might be. Execution, we want to know what's great about the company, what's attractive, what are they doing right? We often hear people say, oh, I really like the team, very experienced, great KOLs, or things about the overall need, huge need. So tell us what's attractive. Validation, we're looking to understand how well the company understands their stakeholders and the value prop overall, and have they validated those things? So you could just tell us they understand it pretty well, or they don't understand their stakeholders at all, or they haven't done any validation of their stakeholders. Again, part of the conversation you have in your breakouts is to stimulate the answers to these. Suggested resources, we want to know any thoughts you have about resources that MedTech Innovator could provide to the company. So for example, we have all these great regulatory consultants who are part of MedTech Innovator, or who work for the strategics that are part of our sponsors. Or for example, market access strategy. The company really needs, they're in Korea, but they'd like to get out of Korea, or they, and this could be useful to them. Or the company is looking for access to talent and they're having difficulty recruiting, and maybe you could help them with introductions. Whatever it is that you assess during your discussions with the companies, please give us some thoughts here. And startups, please don't be shy. We want the judges to ask you what you're looking for. And if they don't ask you, we want you to tell us, hey, we're interested in MedTech Innovator because we're really excited about the ability to go from Japan to other countries in Asia, whatever it is, again, that you're looking for. Let us know. And then lastly, judges, this question says, if advanced in our diligence process, would you be interested in a follow-up call? And what that basically means is that as we go through our evaluation, we may have some additional questions, and we're looking for people who'd be willing to just talk to the company and ask them some questions. We also find this to be an indicator of whether or not you find the company to be interesting in general. So we often look at that statistic and we go, oh, a lot of our people were interested in a follow-up call. That's a good thing. If no one's interested in a follow-up call, that could be a bad thing. So, we're looking for the answer to that question. It does not mean, however, that we're going to be setting you up for a call. It just means that we know that you're interested, and that if we need to, we'll reach out to you. Any extra comments you can put in the additional comments box. And then finally, you have the submit button, which you use if you're finished with your form. If you're still working and you need to fill in some more details, you can click the Save Draft button. That will store a cached version of the form up in the corner of your browser, up in the left-hand corner. And later on, after you fill out some more forms, you can go back, click that little icon, the number in the corner, it'll expand. You can choose the company and finish filling out the form and then submit. Again, as I said, we'll send you all of this at the end of the day. So that is the overview of how this is going to work. We have a whole team here from MedTech Innovator, many of whom will be in your judging rooms. So you'll have me or Frederick or some of the other team members in one of your rooms. While you're pitching, we'll start off and we'll say, hey, everybody, why don't you quickly go around and introduce yourselves? Very short introduction, not sales pitches or not anything else. We just want you to quickly tell us who you are and what you do. We'll get to meet you during our breaks if you're one of our partners. So you don't have to do a really long introduction, just a very short intro. If you're one of our judges, just tell the presenter who you are so they understand who they're pitching to. Presenters, you don't have to wait for people. You don't have to say, oh, I thought someone else was going to be here. Just go ahead and we'll start right away with those introductions, and then you introduce yourself and share your slides, and we'll be recording all those sessions so that we make sure that our judges who aren't here today get to see that. So that's basically how this is going to work. These are 20-minute sessions, and then we'll come back. We'll have breaks in between each round where we'll be moving people to their next round. But while we're doing that, we'll make introductions and answer any questions. So that's it. If you're one of our YouTube viewers and you're watching this on YouTube, Thank you very much for joining us, and we will see you at our next pitch event, hopefully. If you want to learn more about MedTech Innovator and you're on YouTube, just go to medtechinnovator.org. You can learn all about our companies or medtechinnovator.asia as well, either one. And you'll learn all about our program and what's involved. So thanks for everyone here on YouTube. We can go ahead and stop that stream. And hope